Hello friends, this is Pratiksha Garud working as an assistant professor in MVP Samaj, Nasik. Now in this video we are going to study the introductory part of solids. So let's start with this. So what are solids? We can say the solids can be crystalline or amorphous. In case of the crystalline solids, there is regular arrangements of the constituent units. That means that there is regular arrangements of atom, ions or molecules, and these particles are held together by strong intermolecular forces. Further, we can say that due to these strong forces, the solids are rigid and hence they are having definite shape and volume. These regular arrangements of solids are responsible for their characteristics properties. Okay, so based upon this, let us see the characteristic properties of the solid state. So we can say the solids have definite mass, volume and shape. Further, solids are incompressible and rigid. In solids, the intermolecular distances are very short. That means the distance between the constituent units are very small. Further, we can say that the intermolecular forces are very strong. Why strong? Because they are having a very short distance. And then the constituent particles of the solids have fixed positions. Further, the constituent particles of the solids can only oscillate about their mean positions, right? Then classification of solids. So the solids, how they are classified, we have seen solids, they are divided into two types. The first type of the solid is known as the crystalline solid, and the second type of the solid is known as the amorphous solids, right? So we can say that the solids are classified into crystalline and the amorphous solids. So let us see these two solids in brief. So we are having the first type, that is known as a crystalline solid. So this is the figure of the crystalline solids. Let us explain this crystalline solid. So these solids possesses highly ordered arrangement of the constituent units. Here we can say that there is an ordered pattern of the cation and the anion, right? They have typical geometrical forms. Then crystalline substances have sharp MP or the melting point. Then the constituent particles of the crystalline solid are arranged in a regular pattern which is repeated periodically over the entire crystal. And such type of arrangement is known as the long range order. So we can say that the crystalline solids, they are the long range order solids. Then the crystalline solids are anisotropic in nature. Means many physical properties such as electrical resistance, refractive index, etc. are different along different axes. Examples of the crystalline solids are the NaCl, the crystal of NaCl, then quartz, ice, HCl, iron, etc. So these are the examples of the crystalline solids. So based upon this, let us see the characteristics of the crystalline solid. So we can say that this is a crystalline solids in which there is a perfect arrangement of the constituent units. So the crystalline solids have the definite characteristic geometrical shape. Then the crystalline solids have sharp characteristic melting point. Crystalline solids have definite and characteristic heat of fusion. Then they produce pieces with plain and smooth surface when cut with a tool of sharp edge such as knife. Then the crystalline solids they are anisotropic in nature. We have seen that. Then the crystalline solids, they are known as true solid. And further, the constituent particles of the crystalline solids, they are arranged in a long range order. Okay. Then the second type of solid, which is known as the amorphous solid. So amorphous solids, this is the figure of the amorphous solids. So let us explain the amorphous solid. What is amorphous solids? So these solids possesses a random arrangement of constituent units. Now in this figure we can say that there is a random arrangement of the constituent units, that means atom, ions or the molecules. Then the amorphous solids do not have definite melting point. Okay. Then the solids having irregular shapes of particles are known as the amorphous solids. The word amorphous, it comes from the Greek word that is amorphos, and which is meaning no shape. Then the constituent particles of the amorphous solids have only short range order of arrangement. That is, a regular and a periodical arrangement of particles is seen to a short distance only. Then the structure of amorphous solids are similar to that of liquids. So the amorphous solids are isotropic in nature. That is, physical properties of the amorphous solids are same in all directions, which is just opposite to the crystalline solids. Lastly, the examples of the amorphous solids, they are glass, rubber, plastic, etc. So these are the two types, that is the crystalline solids and the amorphous solids. So let us summarize the characteristic properties of the amorphous solids. Firstly, we can say that the particles of the amorphous solids are irregular in shape. Then amorphous solids soften gradually over a range of temperature. Why? Because there is a random arrangement of the constituent units. The next characteristic is the amorphous solid produce pieces of irregular shapes when they cut into two pieces. Then amorphous solids do not have definite heat of fusion. They are isotropic in nature. That means they have same physical properties in all directions. Then amorphous solids are not true solids, and hence they are also known as the pseudo solid or the supercooled liquid. Then the arrangement of the constituent particles in case of the amorphous solid is in short range order. Next point, then let us see the difference between the amorphous and the crystalline solids. So one side we are having the crystalline solids and the other side we are having the amorphous solids. Okay, so the first point in case of the crystalline solid is that it is a homogeneous solid, whereas in case of the amorphous, it is not a homogeneous solid. Crystalline solids, it produces a definite geometrical shape, whereas amorphous solids, it does not possesses any geometric shape. Crystalline solids, it has a definite and orderly arrangement of constituent unit. That means the atom, ions or molecules in three-dimensional space. Whereas in case of amorphous solids, we can say that it does not have definite and orderly arrangement of the atom, ion or molecules in three-dimensional space. Then in case of the crystalline solids, the arrangement of constituent particles is in long range order. Whereas in case of amorphous, the arrangement of constituent particles is in short range order. Crystalline solids, they are having sharp MP. Amorphous solid, they does not have sharp melting point. Crystalline solids, their crystals are bound by plane faces. Whereas in case of amorphous solids, it does not possesses plane faces. Crystalline solid, they are anisotropic in nature. Amorphous solid, they are isotropic in nature. Crystalline solid, it has unit cell, whereas amorphous solid does not have any unit cell. Examples of the crystalline solid, NaCl, sulfur, sugar, etc. Whereas the examples of the amorphous solids are rubber, plastic, glass, etc. So these are the points of differences between the crystalline solids and the amorphous solids. So let's move on. Let us see the types of crystalline solids. So on the basis of a nature of forces that binds the constituent units, that means the atom, ions and the molecules, the crystalline solids, they are divided into four types. That means there are four types of the crystalline solids. So which are these four types? So we are having the crystalline solids. The first type is known as the molecular solid. The second type is known as the metallic solid. Third type of the crystalline solid is known as the covalent solid, and the last type, that is the fourth type of crystalline solid, is known as the ionic solids. So these are the four types of the crystalline solids. Let us see these four types. So we are having the first type, that is the molecular solids. Okay, so the solids which are having molecules as their constituent particles are known as the molecular solids. As the name suggests, molecular solids. So its examples is the hydrogen molecule, chlorine molecule, water molecule, HCl, hydrochloric acid, then solid, carbon dioxide, sucrose, etc. So these are the examples of the molecular solids in which the constituent particles are the molecules. So let's see one example. One of the example is the sucrose molecule. So this sucrose molecule is an example of the molecular solids. So this is the first type of the crystalline solids. Let's move on. We are having the second type. Second type, that is the metallic solids. So this is the example of the metallic solids. So what are the metallic solids? We can say that all metals are referred as metallic solids. As the name suggests, we can say that the all metals generally referred as the metallic solids. Their constituent particles are the positive ions. In this image, we can say that there are positive ions which are surrounded by the negative ions. So their constituent particles are the positive ions, and these positive ions are surrounded by the free moving electrons. Here we can say that these positive ions, they are surrounded by the free moving electrons. Its example is the iron, aluminium, or we can say all metals. They are the metallic solids. So this is the second type of the crystalline solids. Then we are having the third type, which is the third part type, covalent solids. So this is the image of the covalent solids. So let us elaborate this. Crystalline solids are formed by non-metals because of formation of the covalent bonds between the adjacent molecule throughout the crystals, right? So these are known as the network solid. Here we can see in the image, there is a network of solids. These are also called as the giant molecules. Their examples are the diamond, graphite, silicon carbide, etc. So this is the third type of the crystalline solid, which is known as the covalent solids, in which the crystalline solids are formed by non-metals. The last type, that is the fourth type, which is known as the ionic solid. Solids in which ions are the constituent particles are known as the ionic solids. This is the image of the ionic solid. Here we can see it is a example which is NaCl, and the ions are Na plus and the Cl minus, and due to formation of bonds between ions, we are forming the ionic solid. These solids are formed because of three-dimensional arrangements of cations and the anions bound together with strong electrostatic forces, right? Ionic solids made up of positive and the negative ions. Here we can say that the Na is positive and the Cl is negative. And these ions are held together by electrostatic interaction of oppositely charged ions. Okay, here we can see that there is a electrostatic attraction between this cation and the anion, and hence we can get the formation of the ionic solid. Further in this electrostatic force of attraction between cation and the cation of action is called as the ionic bond. Its examples are the NaCl, which is formed by the ionic bond. The Na plus and the Cl minus ions, they are held by electrostatic force, and hence the compound is ionic in nature. The formation of bond takes place by complete transfer of one or more electron from the valence shell of one atom to the valence shell of another atom, and hence we are getting the formation of the ionic solid. Generally, the element achieve the octet configuration either by losing or by gaining the electron. Thank you. So this is just the introduction of the solids. In the next video, we have to explain, we have to see the ionic solids in detail. Thank you.